It brings Joseph Smith's thought into alignment with the revelations that he received and with the entire history, I would suggest, of Scripture.
So
go ahead.
Could I jump in on there on the consistency here with Scripture? Because some people, especially Christian listeners, listen to this is like, what are you talking about? Go read Isaiah. There's one God. You guys are talking about this plurality of gods. You guys are being unbiblical. And I'll pull up here on the screen, one of the ones that they love to show, is there a God besides me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. Isaiah, 44:8. But what you're pointing out, and is something that I think is being pointed out more and more in biblical scholarship these days, is this idea of the council of the gods. And I wanted to share a video with, go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, this is a recognized taunt by a king in the ancient Near East. And the kind of taunt that we find inscribed is there a king beside me? There is no other king. I know not of any. We find that exact description. But there are kings throughout the ancient Near East. What he's saying is, I'm the head king. I'm the real dude. And unless you recognize me, you're not recognizing the proper king. So that's the kind of thing that's really happening in Isaiah. I just wanted to add that.
No, absolutely. And I agree. It's the statement of incomparability rather than non-existence of someone else. And Michael Heiser, who we're going to go to now, he's a biblical scholar, not a member of the church. And and I'd imagine that he's not the only scholar out there that recognizes that if you actually dig into the history of the Bible and its actual text and do that textual criticism, you will find that the polytheism is all over the Old Testament. So I want to just throw this up real quick and let the audience watch it, and then we can stop it. If you want to make a comment, just let me know here.
In Psalm 82, the God of Israel, the God of the Bible, is said to hold judgment over other gods. God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. Psalm 82 becomes very interesting if you learn a little Hebrew. The word most often translated God or gods in the Old Testament is Elohim. Watch what happens when we reveal where that word is used in this passage. Notice that both the capital G, God, and the lowercase g, gods, were changed. That is because the word Elohim can be used for several different things. The context of the passage tells us what Elohim is referring to. The Bible's writers use Elohim as an alternate name for Yahweh over 1,000 times, but Elohim can also refer to the gods of foreign nations, or demons, spirits of the human dead, and angels, most likely the angel of the Lord. As you can see, these are all inhabitants of the spiritual realm. It should be clear from this list that not all Elohim were considered equal. While Yahweh is an Elohim, the writers of the Bible considered him unique and far above the others. The ancient Israelites thought of the spiritual world as a three-tiered hierarchy with God at the top. It may surprise many Christians to learn that angels are actually on the lowest tier of the hierarchy. The Hebrew word for angel, malach, is basically a job description used to denote a spirit being who carries out modest tasks, like delivering messages. The tier above the angels is occupied by beings called B'nai Elohim in Hebrew. B'nai Elohim is usually translated sons of God in English Bibles. And when most people read that phrase, they are not even aware it refers to spiritual beings. But as we will see, the sons of God played an important role in the Old Testament. In the beginning of the book of Job, there is a meeting of God's court or council. Guess who is there? Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan, a term that means adversary, also came among them. The sons of God do not only show up in God's throne room. Later, in Job, we see that the sons of God were present at creation. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding, who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. We can see that the sons of God were important figures.
So I'm going to stop it right there. And my thing when I first saw that video was, holy smokes, Joseph Smith was ahead of the game, Blake, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is that your understanding of these things as a biblical scholar yourself?
In my third volume, I recreate the Hebrew divine council, if you will. I show how it arises from the earlier Ugaritic and other ancient Near Eastern civilizations, how they had a common concept, and then show how it persisted throughout the Old Testament. I mean, throughout the entire Old Testament. And how there was.
I've been, ever since I watched that video, whenever I see the term sons of God used, I like perk up. I'm like, wait a minute, there's more to that saying than I originally thought.
So just to clarify, are you guys saying the sons of God are us? Sons and daughters, I guess?
Yeah, that's in fact, Jesus quotes the very psalm that was just read to us. And he says, are you not gods? That's Psalm 82 he's quoting.
And
That's a mind blower when you understand all this, what he's saying.
I mean, the answer by the Jews was, what are you talking about, right? And he meant it. And it's like, no. The answer that they're going to give is no. The answer that Christ is inferring is, of course.
Yeah.